دور دیس کے لوگ بیرون ملک آباد پاکستانیوں کی کامیابی اور کامرانی کی کہانی.
آپ کی آمد کا بہت بہت شکریہ. آپ آئے اور آپ نے وقت نکالا. آج میرے ساتھ ہیں جناب ڈاکٹر نوید شیروانی. ڈاکٹر نوید شیروانی is a very well known world personality. He has written a book, How to Make Chips, which is the first book written by him. He was a farmer, number 2 in Intel. He has built many companies in Silicon Valley. He is a farmer professor. ہماری جو دل عزیز شخصیت ہیں سبات رفیق, جنہوں نے اپنی تمام تر آسائش زندگی پرتکلف لائف سلیکون ویلی میں خوبصورت تھا سب چھوڑ کے ابھی یہ پاکستان میں زیادہ تر کا وقت ہوتا ہے. ایم ایم روڈ کا آفس ہے ہمارا UWI یونائٹڈ وی ریچ, اور یہ NGO ان کی تخلیق ہے, ان کی اپنی ایجاد ہے. اور کیونکہ سلیکون ویلی میں جو لوگ ہیں وہ دنیا بھر پہ راج کر رہے ہیں. ہر لحاظ سے آپ دیکھیں, چاہے اوبر دیکھ لیں یا پہلے میڈیسن دیکھ لیں یا امیزون دیکھیں یا گوگل دیکھیں یا فیس بک, اسنیپ شاٹ, ٹویٹر, everything is now IT and Silicon Valley. تو ان لوگوں نے یہ خیال کیا کہ جب دنیا میں اتنا بڑا IT آپریشن کر رہی ہے اور اب ہیلتھ ایجوکیشن ہر چیز جائیں, آپ کو دیکھیں ایئرپورٹ پہ بھی آپ کو IT کے باکس کھڑے ہیں, ہر جگہ وہی ای سسٹم چل رہا ہے. تو انہوں نے سوچا کہ ہم کس طریقے سے پاکستان میں اس IT کو امپلیمنٹ کریں اور اسکیلیبل کام کریں. یہ نہیں کہ ہم نے 50 اسکول بنا دیے, 10 اسکول بنا دیے, 100 اسکول بنا دیے یا گرلس اسکول بنا دیے. نہیں, ان نے کیا سوچا کہ جو پاکستان میں آلریڈی اسکول ایگزسٹنگ اسکول ہیں جن کو ہم یلو اسکول کہتے ہیں, پبلک اسکول, گورنمنٹ اسکول, ٹھیک ہے, جس سے بہت سے لوگوں سب نے پڑھا وہاں سے, تو ان وہ آلریڈی عمارت بنی ہوئی ہے, بلڈنگ بنی ہوئی ہے, فرنیچر ہے, پانی ہے, بجلی ہے, اور ٹیچر تنخواہ بھی لے رہے ہیں. ٹھیک ہے, تو نہ آپ کو تنخواہ دینی ہے, نہ آپ نے بلڈنگ بنانی ہے, نہ آپ نے فرنیچر ڈالنا ہے, آپ نے صرف سسٹم ان پلیس کرنا ہے. وہ سسٹم نکال کے دوسرے سسٹم لگا دینا ہے. جو ہو کیا رہا ہے پاکستان میں جتنے جو خوشحال لوگ ہیں, اچھے پیسے ان کے بعد, وہ تو بچے بیکن ہاؤس اور گرامر اسکول میں پڑھتے ہیں اور اعلیٰ تعلیم حاصل کرنے کے بعد اور پھر وطن کو چھوڑ کے دنیا کے مختلف ممالک میں خدمات انجام دیتے ہیں. لیکن وہ بچے جو یلو اسکول میں ہیں اور جو مڈل کلاس اور گراس روٹ پہ ہیں, وہ تو انہوں نے کہیں نہیں جانا, انہوں نے وہیں رہنا ہے. اور وہی لوگ جائیں گے منسٹری کے اندر اور CSP آفیسر, بیوروکریٹس وہی بنیں گے. تو ان لوگوں نے یہ سافٹ ویئر بنایا, اس پہ آج یہ روشنی ڈالیں گے. سبات رفیق کا تعلق فائنینس ہے. شی واز اے شریعہ کمپلائنس گرو ہے, اور انہوں نے کافی کمپنیاں بلڈ کی ہیں سلیکون ویلی میں, اور افریقہ میں بہت بڑے پیمانے پہ کام کیا ہے بل گیٹ کے ساتھ. ٹھیک ہے, تو اس پہ یہ روشنی ڈالیں گی. اور ڈیفینیٹلی کیونکہ شی از اے برین چائلڈ اینڈ ہی از اے برین چائلڈ, دے ول گیو مور لائٹ آن اٹ. اوکے, تو آپ کی بھرپور تعلیم میں شخصیت ماشاء اللہ بڑی معروف اور بہت کام کرتی ہیں. اور ہوتا ہے لاہور میں بیٹھ کے کام کرنا, بیوروکریٹ کے ساتھ کام کرنا. گورنمنٹ پہلے پنجاب گورنمنٹ کے ساتھ کام کیا 2 سال, 300 اسکول ہمیں انہوں نے گرانٹ کیے. اس کے بعد وہ گورنمنٹ چلی گئی تو PTI گورنمنٹ آئی ہے, تو راس مراد صاحب جو انہوں نے ہمیں 1000 اسکول دینے کا وعدہ کیا کہ ہم وہ ٹرانسفارم کریں. تو یہ روشنیاں لگی بھرپور تعلیم میں آپ اور آپ کے آگے.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening, and I am very aware of the fact that I am the only person standing between you and dinner. So we'll try to be brief, although being brief is not necessarily something that's the forte of women. I know that sounds horribly misogynistic. I don't know about all women, but I was definitely invented before commas, full stops and punctuation. So Naveed, you'll have to be the Times keeper.
No, I don't want to do that.
Okay. Excellent.
That is just trolling. I don't want to do that.
So bad news for all of you, I can talk ad infinitum. Because normally Naveed is my timekeeper, and probably he's about the only one who can tell me time to stop. Everybody else, sorry, tonight is the night that you'll just have to endure. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. I know Saturdays are busy days, and I'm sure you had a lot more other fun opportunities to go to. I heard in the room that somebody was dancing till late last night. Actually, quite a few people out here were dancing till late yesterday. So you guys already had your fun, okay? But thank you for being here this evening. I think we have a couple of people in speak Urdu, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
That's
that's so we'll stick with English. That intrigued us. In terms of other deltas, huger deltas exist between the first world and the third world. Public school to public school, we obviously leave certain private schools out. Pakistan, South Asia is between 50 to 80 years we're behind in our public education system. Africa is about 80 to 120, depending on what part of Africa we're talking about. Obviously, between countries, there's a huge delta. There's Egypt that has a different delta. South Africa has a different delta. Kenya, another one. But by and large, this is the range that we talk about. And what are the problems in education? What are the problems? Now, globally, we have a certain population growth rate. So, one fundamental premise, when we started forming criteria, what is it that will tell me that I found a solution or we created a solution that is at least addressing or moving the needle just a little bit. So, we took on 5 fundamental goals for ourselves. The first one, of course, is teachers. The world needs about 69 million new teachers by 2030, that's the UN number. The world needs 69 million new teachers by 2030. That's not too far out. And there is no way that we are going to train that many teachers that fast. Now in Pakistan, the problem is far more acute. The reason why it's far more acute is that we have 22.6 million kids out of school between the age of 5 and 16. This is not counting those who've never been to school and never will go to school. And we are from the bottom number 2 in the entire world. And a lot of people ask me why Pakistan, and I said it's not because I'm from Pakistan, it is because the need is there. And it is the most, we are the 6th most populous nation. Every 30 years we compound the problem by a factor of 3. So if you're not able to address the issue of education, to be very honest, we will not see peace. So addressing the education issue in Pakistan is important. It's not simply because I'm from Pakistan and I wanted to start with Pakistan. It is because the need is very acute. So within Pakistan, when you have 22.6 million kids out of school, those who do go to school in a public school system, the teacher-to-student ratio is between 70 to 120 in Punjab, which is a better one. Within interior Sindh, some of the schools that we're working with, we're looking at a student-to-teacher ratio of 200 to 1. So for me, if by some miracle we're able to put in enough brick and mortar, and we are able to get all these 22.6 million kids into school, where are we going to get the teachers? As it is, we have a huge teacher shortage. So a solution that provides a scalable and rapidly deployable methodology to be able to fill the teacher shortage gap, to me, is a fundamental premise to move the needle. Second part of it is the quality. What type of teacher? If the teacher is going to teach me the same old arcane things that we learned, I mean, all of us understand, most of us at least, we come from an educational system that was devised by the colonizer in 1800s. The structured education system that we inherited is, unfortunately, last century. It was not comprehension-based, it was rote memory-based, premised on exams that will get you admitted into medical colleges, that will get you admitted into, so basically, some muqable ka imtihan that will get you into either a college or prepares you for the civil services exam or the military exam. It's designed to produce people who are extremely productive, but it deliberately took out critical thinking and deductive logic, and it is no accident that from that region, since the introduction, this is not unique to Pakistan. Any country that was formerly colonized, you see one thing for sure in them. We don't see organic innovation and invention. We don't produce innovators and inventors anymore. We can reverse engineer everything, but I mean, yes, there are a few counterexamples here and there, but by and large, the system does not produce innovators and inventors. It also sets an expectation that education somehow is a means to getting a naukri or getting a job. It takes out entrepreneurship. It also builds a shame that if you're educated, you cannot have a small shop somewhere. You cannot be a better farmer. I mean, why does education mean that all the farmers need to move to the city? Maybe they can improve the villages by becoming better farmers or by running smaller, better shops or whatever. But entrepreneurship was taken out. And the end result of education is to find a job. So, second part of the problem is re-inculcating critical thinking and deductive logic to produce better citizens. Better citizens who will be innovators and inventors and who will also be job creators and not just job seekers. Because if by some miracle we get all of them educated, do you think we can actually even have that many jobs in Pakistan? The third part of quality to me is that they need to be relevant to the 21st century and to the global workplace. So the education needs to be rapidly scaled up to be relevant. If you're going to be teaching the same old curriculum that was taught to, I mean, how many of you read Goodbye Mr. Chips?
I hated it, but I did.
Yes. Bad news is they're still teaching Goodbye Mr. Chips, except we were taught Goodbye Mr. Chips at a high school level. They now teach it at a graduate level.
Wow.
So it's part of your BA curriculum now. And what a terrible story. Now that we're on the subject, yes, I agree with you. What a terrible story. It tells you that social mobility is not part of it. If you're a teacher, you can die as a teacher and there's nothing wrong with it. So, I'm sorry. Again, so the third part of it, again, you need to have skill sets which will be relevant to a global workplace. Fourth part of the quality part of it. Previously, education was one-dimensional. It was didactic, knowledge, content. Ratamaro, be able to regurgitate. Content. Education is now a four-dimensional experience. And a very important aspect of it is meta-learning, which is learning how to learn. Because the rate of knowledge generation in the world is far different than what it used to be. They used to say that previous centuries' research is this century's common sense. We now say that last decade's research is this decade's common sense. So the rate at which knowledge is being generated, if you are producing kids who are coming out of a rote memory-based system with just some content and thinking we got educated, it's not going to be useful anymore. There's a lot of knowledge that is out there. The newer skill set requires for you, A, to have the etiquette to continuously upgrade yourself and have a healthy relationship with knowledge. B, data is out there, be able to organize it, to curate it, to collate it, to organize it, to know how to use it, to authenticate it. I'll have to ask this question, and Wakar probably hates this question by now. How many of us, and we're a very educated audience here, how many of us ever go beyond the third page or the first page when you do a Google search? Thank you. And the Google page is search engine optimized. So if your primary way of getting information is internet now, and you're not preparing your new generation to be able to authenticate and curate data, then again there's a loss. So anyway, within this, the quality of education part, this is very important. Now what do we do? I mean, the teachers are already coming from this system. How do you make them unlearn and relearn? As it is, we have a teacher shortage. So the solution to me, and we'll talk about the solution in a minute, needs to A, first of all, be rapidly scalable and deployable given the size of the population that we have and the amount, the gap that we have. Second, teachers. Third, quality of content. Fourth, of course, it needs to be a low-cost solution. We're not a first-world country. We are not able to spend $50,000, $60,000 per student. So it has to be a low-cost solution. Fifth, and most important, it needs to be auditable. Again, why auditable? Because if the problem is compounded in 30 years, if I don't have the luxury to do small interventions here and order impact studies on each one and then start correcting after 30 years. So it needs to have an inbuilt element of audit and accountability and be able to adjust it. And how does my solution or how does our solution as we've deployed it address all these 5 issues? It's Not rocket science, to be very honest. It's not rocket science, it's a very simple solution. What we've done is that we've taken Pakistan's national Common Core. We started with Punjab Common Core. Over time, we've added the Oxford and the Cambridge Common Core to it. We've added the National Common Core. Now that we're expanding into Sindh, we've added the Sindh Common Core to it. But by and large, if you're doing the national standard, it is absorbing all those threads, other than linguistics, which we don't touch in any case. Linguistics and Islamiyat we don't touch, for obvious reasons. But we take the Pakistan's Common Core, then we augment it with California Common Core. And the reason I selected California Common Core is not because I come from California. We did conduct a very detailed analysis of a lot of other educational models that existed. And we felt that California invested into STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math way back in the 60s. We started bearing fruit in the 80s in the form of the STEM. And to be very honest, if you look at the rate of new wealth generation within the United States, California does stand out as one, from where somebody from way down in the lower strata or the middle income group could turn the corner. So we looked at California primarily for the reason that they invested in STEM education at Dais, because that's something that we felt was needed to invigorate or to stimulate organic innovation and invention, because science to us is very important to turn the nations. And science, not as it is taught today, where you read out some definitions and maybe have a few questions at the end. Science as it is taught in a collaboration, in a collaborative style, in something that stimulates asking questions in a Socratic way, not the didactic way, and in a classroom early enough. Teach the kids the etiquette of what is the science part of it, what's the concept. How do you engineer a solution out of it? How do you use technology to deploy a solution? So for us, a huge focus is on science. We start science in kindergarten in a science lab. Currently, this school system in Pakistan, science is introduced as a subject in 4th grade. And we're introducing it in kindergarten in a lab. The lab in even private schools does not start until you're in 6th grade. In government schools, it's 9th grade. But we start science in an organized, structured way from kindergarten. Our kids do robotics in 1st grade. They take on coding in 3rd grade. So we have a huge, huge, huge focus on science. We do embed entrepreneurship in a structured way from pre-kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. So we do focus on that part as well. But fundamental focus is on NGSS, the New Generation Science Standard, which by the way is a luxury for even high-income school districts in the United States, and also maybe in elite private schools. But we follow the NGSS and it's available to the slums in Pakistan, all the way to high-income demographic public schools, but it is something that is available. We use the STEAM pedagogics, and the A in there is for art. Art, of course, is important, not only because it stimulates hands-on creativity, but it's also therapeutic and helps kids in a lot of different ways, especially in some of the challenging demographics. Math, of course. Now, when we're saying that we follow the California Common Core, we're also the only difference is in math, in which we're using the Singapore Common Core, because we felt that is more in line with the needs of the examination systems as they are in Pakistan and the standardized exams that they take there. So we've augmented Pakistan's Common Core with whatever we felt was the best practice. And we have created the entire architecture as in terms of creating a whole scope and sequence. We've computed the critical learning path, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, why that is so important. We've done all the scaffolding. Then we have created the lesson plans for each and every class, no matter what numbers of lessons. And the reason why we do that is because in Pakistan also, all the way until you have board exams, people still do selective studies. So they don't even work and cover the whole course. So our system ensures that everybody covers the entire curriculum as it was intended, not necessarily those जिसमें से इम्तिहान में सवाल आ रहे हैं. So it is a comprehensive way to do that. Second part of it is that we are, since I alluded to that we have a shortage of teachers, we felt that it is important for us to document and leverage the cumulative teaching experience of master teachers. So we have a whole team of master teachers certified by us in California, and then we have a team of content writers in Pakistan. We also partner with FC College. Their Vice Director, Dr. Dais, is the curator of the program, and he ensures that everything is in compliance with the local norms and cultures, and also is absorbing everything that is required under the board. And the academic council here makes sure that we don't miss anything. And we truly are able to bridge the gap between the developing world and the developed world. So, and then we go beyond just creating the lesson plans, we actually create a complete script for each and every class. And it's almost like a movie script. Is there a shortcut to a good teacher? Absolutely not. But what it does is that it gives us a baseline. So even in demographics where we're not able to find the best teachers, if I get a literate person, we can train them and they're able to teach as if one of the master teachers in California. Now, better teachers do far better. Our work in the government schools where the teachers are at least graduates or masters, phenomenal results. But we are able to guarantee a baseline performance even in the lowliest of the lowliest slums in Pakistan. So that is the benefit and the beauty of creating that standardized script. And better teachers over time use their own, it of course has a feedback loop to it, and we keep on adding the feedback that we get from teachers on the ground.
So can I make a comment? So just so that you guys have an idea, so after each book has been created, it is broken down into a lesson script. So lesson script actually tells you how as a teacher you will teach in a class, and that's what I was showing you. So each teacher teaches in a class with a tablet in her hand. I typically say her because most of the teachers in Pakistan are female. So what they do is that they follow along.
Women, females is an animal word.
Okay. Ladies. Okay, so if you
female is like, you know,
so basically if you so if you look at a lesson script, this is what a lesson script looks like. And so teacher basically, we tell the teacher what teacher should say, what teacher should write on the blackboard or whiteboard, what games she will play, how long she will actually teach. So this is a script. So if you have never taught in a school before, just using the script, you can actually teach. And we have done many tests like that. We take a person like that, say, have you taught third grade math? You said, no. We walk you into a class, and you have not taught it, I'll give you a script. It's about 5 minutes. Let's test it. Okay, let's test it. Let's test it.
Don't use my example, I went to Naya Madrasa.
So the idea is, this way, two things happen. We know what the teacher is teaching, right? Two, we are guiding the teacher and making her a better teacher while she teaches. Why? Because we have put in a lot of thought into how to teach. So every time you teach, you get to become a slightly better teacher, right? So this is a way to train teachers, because in the end, you have to have a lot of teachers in Pakistan. You cannot depend that they will come from God somewhere. The teachers have to be whatever teachers we have. Because our focus is to improve the current teachers. Our focus is to improve the existing schools. We always say कि अगर आप पीले स्कूल को ठीक नहीं कर सकते, apologies to you, कोई पाकिस्तान में चीज ठीक नहीं होगी, right? So this is our focus, right? So the most important thing is that the teachers actually teach through this tablet. Now you must be thinking this.
The teacher training is very limited in the sense that all the pedagogics and methodologies are already embedded in the script. So with very minimalistic training on pedagogics, as they're working on the job, they just become better teachers. Our focus in training is primarily on English language because we do use English medium of instruction. As I said, I need for the kids to be relevant to the global marketplace. So I absolutely love Urdu as a language. I myself speak Farsi and Arabic, and I'm not undermining the importance of linguistics, but at the same time, for a globally relevant workforce, and for them to be connected to all research that is being done, and for them to be connected to the information corridor, understanding of English and fluency in English is important. So we do focus heavily on English training of the teachers, pedagogics and methodology. Very minimal because it's all embedded in here. As we go into higher grades, there will be slightly more training, but in the elementary years, fundamental pedagogics training does not take that long. We do give them some technical training for them to be able to use the tablet and to be able to organically troubleshoot if needed. And that we found to be the easiest one because anybody who can use a cell phone can easily use this. Of course, the teachers, the principals and the administrators portal requires slightly more training because as these scripts are running, a lot of data is generated which needs to be monitored. Our system works in both online and offline mode because not all parts of Pakistan have online connectivity. So the principal training, of course, is an important part.
So each class starts by doing this. Each class starts by just doing this. Simple as that. And by doing this, you have taken attendance. So we have to know who is sitting in that class. And you just saw, I just did it in front of you. It takes only a few seconds and you can actually take attendance of the class. So now we know because of the tablet what teacher is teaching, and because of the attendance we know the student is sitting in the class when this material was delivered. So this is two important things. And by the way, this is happening in TART schools of Pakistan. You don't need anything else. This tablet cost only $27. The one I have in hand. It has been specially created by us so that it is a very low cost tablet. So that because we can afford it, right? And only teachers have it. Our kids actually don't have anything. They're just sitting the way they're not, like you're sitting right now. But mostly not in.
No, our classrooms are collaboration style. Sorry.
No, but my point is that they're sitting in chairs, they're sitting in things like that. They don't have any computers, they don't have things because we can't afford it, right? So
we do start. Sorry, but
that's what. This is how a classroom look like, so that you kind of have a sense of what
the classroom looks like that. But our kids are digitally literate in kindergarten.
We'll show them.
In the digital lab. So the kids do have tablets, except that they share them. So every kid does not get a tablet, but they are sharing them, and computers from third grade onwards. So anyway, इजाज़त है जी.
Please, script-based teaching. Now we can
talk about full stop छड़ के बड़ा कुछ पाता चला.
ठीक है. So now we are on the script-based teaching.
So anyways, the reason for this is that our script is written and adjusted according to the learning needs of a certain demographic, which takes into account the cognition of different demographics. What do we mean by cognition? Things like average attention spans. Now different socioeconomic demographics have different attention spans. So while we do not compromise the academic integrity of the program or the overall content, we do make sure that the script is adjusted according to the socioeconomic needs or the cognition needs of a particular demographic. Vocabulary is another one. I mean, a simple rule of thumb is that a toddler, an adult in a low-income demographic has 1/3 the vocabulary set of a toddler in a high-income demographic. Now, like I said before, if by some miracle you're able to build a building and you're able to even get a teacher there, if the kid is not having the right vocabulary set, he or she still will not have the same comprehension index as his peers. So the way the script is written embeds in itself all the fundamental premises of equity literacy. And what do we mean by equity literacy? We mean that we adjust it according to the learning needs of demographics. We also adjust it according to the learning needs of a child or a teacher. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Actually, we can just cover it right now. We talked about the accountability and audit part of it. Now, when we are taking a school on, what do we do there? We essentially train the teachers for them to be able to use the script. It's not an expensive 6-month training. It's maybe, depending on the literacy of a particular demographic, between 2 weeks to a maximum in interiors in 1 month, which is English language fluency, pedagogics just a couple of days, technology 2 days. So it's a very simple way of training teachers. Then each teacher already has a tablet. As he or she is teaching, we are assessing the learning outcomes of his or her kid. So because we have a large amount of data coming in, we are able to tell that if there is a learning outcome delta, is it related to the teacher? And if it is related to a teacher, we use the tablet to keep on giving them interventions and to continuously improve them. And if the delta is big enough, we call them back for more training. But we are monitoring it according to that. At the end of every week, so when we take a school, we add a digital lab, we add an art room, we add a science room, and in government schools, government is also adding health and nutrition rooms. We are breaking, how are we different from a regular government school? We break the general knowledge subject into science, social studies, and Islamiyat. Early on, we don't provide the Islamiyat script, we let them do whatever they're doing, but the rest of them we provide. We add art as a structured subject, which was previously not there. We are also, under the new government's initiatives, we are adding physical education as a structured program. So, because that is one of their priorities. The regular formative and summative assessments we take in the classrooms. What are we providing them? We provide them a complete, we have a leaf input system through which we are able to generate complete books, a class book, a homework book, a practice book, and an assessment packet. So everything is in a structured way. And at the end of every week, we take a friendly assessment for all children, and we see if they are having any learning outcome deltas, and if the deltas are intervenable. The first set of audit is on you. We check if the script was okay. Because sometimes maybe it's too challenging for a demographic. Maybe it's working in a city but doesn't work in a village. Maybe it works in a small town but doesn't work in a village. So the first audit is on us, we adjust it. Or maybe it wasn't challenging enough, everybody got it. That's also not good, that's not a pat on the back, that means maybe you made it so easy. It was meaningless. And the kids could be challenged more. So anyway, the first set of audit is on us. Second audit is on the socio-economic demographic that they're in, or ethnic demographic they're in. And we adjust it again according to their needs. Third is on the teacher. Maybe some teachers are struggling, so then we will just intervene. The most important one is on the student's part. And for each and every student, we are making sure, assuming that they do not have the resources for tuition at home, nor they may have an educated parent at home to help them. So the school takes on the responsibility for all interventions, whether compensatory, whether remedial, whether preventive. And next time the kid logs on to the digital lab, he or she will get remedial material that is specific to his or her learning needs, tailored to his or her learning styles. And how do we, just from an academic question point of view, how do we know how kids have different learning paths? So for example, a simple reader program that we have. Some kids will be able to answer the earlier part of the story better based on assessment, some the latter part. If you retain the earlier part and not the latter, maybe you have an attention span issue. If you remembered the last part and not the earlier, you may have a memory issue. Some kids learn better by somebody reading to them. Some kids learn better in a peer-to-peer setting. Some kids learn better by just reading. So based on the learning games that we bring in the digital lab or the reader program that we have in the digital lab, we're also creating a model for each and every child, so he or she gets the intervention based on their learning styles. So that is when I initially talked about that it has to be live audit and live feedback. That is part of the so we are the only non-profit in the world to have an artificial intelligence system and to have the adaptive learning platform. Everybody else who's in the adaptive learning platform is basically for-profit. We're the only non-profit that does that. So basically that is the solution that we have. At this point, just because I can see that everybody's getting hungry now, and we'll just open the house for questions. At this point, what have we done? We are in Pakistan for the last 3 years.
Can I just talk about the last part, the analytics? So this is the...
I was trying to get them to food because I can talk so
just 30 seconds. So we have an enormous amount of data. We have so much data about the children and the teachers and the school that we can cut the data any which way. For example, we can, without a student even attending a class, I could tell you before the student attends the class, how will this student perform in this class with this teacher teaching. I have enough data to predict that now. I'm good for 97, 98%. This is when even the student has not even entered the class. Teacher has not entered the class, I can tell you that. Why? Because we have been tracking these students for 3 years now. We know a lot about them, right? So we generate enormous amount of data every day. So this is the school daily report that is created. It gives you a lot of analytics about how different teachers have done, how students have done, things like that. We also do other reports about late attendance comparisons because we try to figure out if a student is missing, what damage did it do by missing that class or missing that day? Do
Or if we missed a part, then we use the digital app to make
Yes,
sure that
to
it
make it
covers
up.
the whole material.
So we have that kind of, we have lots of data like that. We also do a lot of health data on each student because health data has actually impact on their learning data. Okay. So
Actually, health is in the equity literacy, since we have so many doctors sitting in the room. It's among the factors that impact learning outcomes. Other than teacher, the teacher is the #1 reason, the teacher inequality, because good teachers go teach in better demographics. So your huge delta is coming out of there. And the second most important one is the access to healthcare. Simple things, for example, like if your kids from low-income demographics, they will not have prescription glasses. So if you put them in an overcrowded classroom, you did nobody any favor. So the way we write our books is something that's already been tried in California. There are certain font size. So while I can't give everybody glasses, we can make sure that it's readable. We've limited the class size in circular sizes. We put the teacher in the middle to make sure that everybody is looking at the classroom, and the classroom visuals are of a certain font size too. So we've standardized those things to compensate for that. Kids with multiple untreated ear infections, they're not clinically deaf, but their audibility range is different. So again, reorganizing the classroom. So essentially we do use a lot of interventions of that nature to make sure that the kids at least have a good shot at doing the best that they can.
and we keep everybody informed. So basically, when your student is not in the class, we send a text message to the parent that your student is not in the class. So this is primarily a safety scene. But every week, every parent actually get on their cell phone a small report about how their kids did. And we do that in the very, very poor parts of Pakistan. So this is not a high-tech solution. This is something that addresses the problem today. We create a report for every teacher, for every day, for the headmaster or headmistress most of the time. We create comparative data across schools and across teachers, across subjects, and we make all this data available for people who are running the schools, administrating the schools, donors who are giving money to the schools. The idea is we don't want to run the schools. We don't want to give people who are running the schools, make them much better. Because in Pakistan we have 155,000 government schools. There is no charity in the world which runs more than 3,000 schools. No charity, worldwide. The largest charity Pakistan has is TCF, which runs 1,200 schools after 23 years. What is the chance that they will ever run 155,000 schools? No, right? So the government has to be helped. So this is the whole idea is we want to help whoever is running the school. Government, charitable organization, whoever, give them the tools to run it better.
The magnitude of the problem is such that everybody is doing work out there, we should laud them. Whether that's TCF, whether that's DIL, whether that's CARE, whether that's HDF, we should help and support each one because everybody is doing good work. The magnitude of the problem is such, we should support everybody. Whatever we have developed is available for everybody. We will eventually open source it. It's free of cost for everybody. And a lot of schools under Punjab Education Foundation actually use what we do. So it is freely available. So whoever is doing whatever, please continue to support them. They're all doing good work.
So last thing I want to tell you is...
Just because they cannot scale to 155,000 schools doesn't mean they're not doing a good job. We should still support everybody.
And so I said that should be low cost. So this is actually actual cost of upgrading a school. In United States, in San Jose, we spend $11,500 per child per year. In Pakistan, we spend $153 per child per year. Okay? Just so that you have an idea. But anyway, it takes about $15,000 to actually upgrade a school, what we are doing. So what do we do actually in a school? We put in a school server, because school server connects to our data center. We put Wi-Fi through the school, because teachers should be able to teach anywhere. We give teacher training, of course. We give these tablets to the teachers who are teaching. We have a digital lab, which has about 30 tablets. These are 10-inch tablets, what you saw. Then we make a science lab, and we make
government schools we need more tablets because the government schools have maybe like
and then there is an
500 to 5,000 students in the tablets.
All this can be done with only $15,000. And with volume, maybe we can even reduce that cost. But this is what we are doing. After 4 or 5 years of effort, we have got down. So initially we were at like $40,000. By reworking all the cost again and again, but this we think $15,000 investment in a school is not a very big number, and it can dramatically improve, as you can see. And the people here, you could actually, I can give you a program on your cell phone that if you, let's say, if you work towards improving a school somewhere in Sialkot, my city from where I'm from, and so you could be here and on your cell phone you can see if a teacher is teaching, because we run it live. So when a teacher is teaching in a class, on your cell phone you can see what page the teacher is on, who is sitting in the class at this moment, live. We have this data completely live. School system in United States does not give you that data. The benefit of that is then we can intervene. We can figure out what a student is missing and fix it every day, right? So in this way, we can make sure that all the students are getting the best possible education. Okay.
Just one question, please. Load shedding, when that happens in Pakistan?
It doesn't matter. The entire system is created in a way that load shedding has zero impact on us, because in every school we also put a backup system, and the backup system ensures that it will work for 7 to 8 hours. All our tablets are, are backed up. So actually, if we lose power during the day, anytime, and we have lost many times, no impact happens to our system. Everything works because it is set up there.
And whenever you get connectivity, the data comes to us.
That's it.
So that does not impact us that much.
That's it.
We have at this point working with the government of Punjab. We've started working with the Huvat Foundation and started some schools in Sindh. We also have some inclusive education programs for deaf children. We worked on creating a sign language. The Pakistani sign language was not documented before. So most of our scripts are being converted into Pakistani sign language and being deployed in about 35 deaf schools in Pakistan. We also have some learning games and whatever for autistic children. So we definitely have a component of inclusive education in there. In addition to what we're doing, the previous government and a lot of people ask, where do you seek your validation from? I think the best validation of a program is the rate of its adoption. We were just in Pakistan for less than a year when we got approached by the government. We never approached anybody, and they made a roadmap to deploy it in 300 schools, the pilots of which got started, and the new government is even more aggressive on education as an agenda. So they have a roadmap to expand it to 1,000 schools within Punjab alone, and we are in conversation with Sindh Education Foundation to see what we want to do. So definitely the goal that we had of scalability and to be in 1,000 schools within 3 years, to me is a huge validation of the program. We also got our independently approached by a foundation in Denmark, which has now taken our math and science content and they're deploying it in Danish public schools. So, to me again, the target that I took, that it should bridge the gap between the first world and the third world, that is a huge validation. We're also becoming part of the solution for Commonwealth schools, and the British government is also in the process of talking to us. So definitely we're looking at a lot of support. Somebody asked me a question that do you take institutional money, and the answer is no, because at this point we're very focused on making sure that we don't become an agenda for any organization. We're trying to create a solution that is for Pakistan. None of the data ever leaves Pakistan. The data belongs to Pakistan, and data is an asset, and data is also a weapon. So we're very, very careful in terms of making sure that our data does not get transferred and our mission does not get corrupted. So that was the
I got a
question.
When you talked about the teacher, they're teaching on the tablets. So there are compulsory courses in schools all over in Pakistan. So who's actually downloading those courses? If the teacher is teaching, on a daily basis to the students, so do you have access to those compulsory books or the courses or whatever?
So that's a good question. We have absorbed all of, the Pakistani curriculum books are very thin, to be very honest. But they're already absorbed in there. And as the government adopted, they're responsible for printing our books through PCTV and distributing them to the students.
So you're actually downloading over here in California?
No, in Pakistan.
In Pakistan.
So all our software has been developed in Pakistan. And like I said, we don't let any data be...
So these are it. All the books are on our data center. It's on MM Alam Road. And when at any given time in this tablet, you will have 7 days of curriculum available. So if you lose power for 7 days at a row and no power, you still have enough material to teach. You have no upload, but you don't need any download, right? And every night when the data rates are very low cost. In Pakistan, what happens after 12 o'clock? Data becomes literally free. So from 12 to 2:30 in the night, we download everything into the school servers and upload data into our data center. Right? So this is how we save money, right? And make it low cost. And at any given time, schools have all the analytics package, everything for 7 to 10.
Your question is relating to the books.
Well, that's what my question is. I mean, are those books available electronically, first of all?
Yes, they are.
That's what I think.
Answer is yes.
So that's how you download it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And they are available for free for anybody. So if you want to go to our website and download any of your books and want to print them and use them for any purpose in the world except for making money, you can do that. Because it's a non-profit, all our books, all our data, all our software is available for free for everybody.
So just one question. I mean,
You can ask two questions.
Yeah, just before everybody. So I hear that it's very science basically based. I mean, anything from an ethical perspective, because we have
social studies, yes. In the
social
social studies, yes. And we are very focused on what we call SEL, which is a huge focus even in US, which is social and emotional learning, and we do it like that.
I have a question too. So you introduce these systems, right? What do you do about maintaining them? Like in the future, like, you know, equipment is not working, this is an ongoing expense. So how long do you follow up with that?
Since the government is taking, or whoever adopts our system will take on the cost of the implementation in our own schools, which are completely adopted by us, while we don't take on the administration. We are taking on the cost, but there is no additional cost which is beyond what the government is already doing. In fact, it helps them bring the cost down, because the tracking system that we have now will replace and create a lot of redundancy in existing jobs that they have.
So 15,000 is amortized over 5 years. So the idea is that you amortize it over 5 years, but there is the gradual replacement. So every year you take
Like equipment's not working, so you will replace that.
But at the same time, we're trying to make it as low cost as possible. For example, our tablets is only $27. The servers we are using in Pakistan, I use the big word, they cost us $280. Servers. Our Wi-Fi system costs us like $114, $120. So we have figured out how to buy these things at extremely low cost. The end goal is that if you want to upgrade a school in Pakistan, you go to our website, click on something, a container shows up. With that container, which will cost, let's say, $15,000, every chair that you want, every tablet that you want, everything would be in that container with a way how you can upgrade your school. Because that's the only way scalability happens. Because we have to upgrade 150,000 schools. 150,000 schools. We don't even have 150,000 people who can go to the schools. So it has to be something that you get, open up a dabba, and you start, follow directions, implement in your school, and be able to run it. And we know you exist. When you turn on your server, it connects to the data center, we know you exist. Then you start downloading the books, you start downloading the curriculum, and then you start. So the whole focus is people should be able to do it themselves. We should be able to tell our politicians, we should be tell our local people, why don't you upgrade this school? And they say, how would I upgrade the school? Say, go to their website, download, order material and start. Has nothing to do with us. They don't have to talk to us. They can just use it. Yes.
So I'm intrigued by the comment about teaching entrepreneurship and innovation and creativity. So in your experience working with the kids in this model, what's been kind of the aha or secret sauce to kind of tap into that? How do you do that?
There's lots of them. So there are personal entrepreneurial characters. You list about 10 of them, and then by the time you have subsets, we're looking at almost 35 different things in them. Now, some of them are very simple, relatively simple. So for example, in a society like ours, where the mindset is that you have to find a job, we have a resistance to trying something new. And we subscribe a lot to, let's say, failure. We say if you're a failure, so failure by itself or risk aversion is a huge challenge that we have. If you notice, a kid wants to go out and do something, you say, oh no, you're not going to do that. And even the way we have our social studies, you talked about value system, how we tell stories. I don't know if you're from Pakistan or?
I was born there but raised here.
Okay. So even how we tell our religious stories, let's say we'll talk about Badr, yes, because we won that war. Nobody wants to really talk about it because we technically lost it. We tell the story by saying, oh well, we really won, but then we lost. True? In reality, it was a loss, and there's nothing wrong with a loss. So now there be a, oh, well, we compromised, maybe it's bad. And ever, all right, yay, back again. So what I'm trying to say here is that the way you tell your stories, you build a narrative that success is the only parameter. In reality, trying is far more important. And failing. So let's say if we are trying to embed, let's say, an attitude which is not risk averse anymore, or which does not subscribe shame to failure, you do it through basic storytelling. The way you have even your kindergarten stories, that's one of them. Then the way you organize the classroom, let's say another one. I mean, and we do a lot more than just storytelling. Let's say, for example, what is one reason why we don't produce entrepreneurs? Because we don't teach team spirit, we don't teach hero worship. Whether that's it's in politics, whether that's in institutions, there's a Seth Sahab and he's like the, whatever. In politics, we don't believe in building institutions, we believe. So if you can teach kids the value of team building, how do you do that? You can do it through a lot of activities. Simple things, for example, in even teaching, training teachers. Let's say you're doing even a project in class from an early grade, and because we have a collaboration style, we tell the teacher, you're going to grade the kids not on the output. A lot of times if you're giving somebody an assignment to do, a kid who's good with hands-on skill or who knows will kind of push others away because he wants the project to look good, and the teachers don't stop it because they think that the project that will go into the science fair needs to look perfect or whatever. We teach the kids to grade on participation and start teaching kids team building, because a lot of good ideas die simply because we don't have as entrepreneurs. So anyway, what I'm trying to say here is there is opportunity seeking and initiative. Lots of matrices are built in there, and we are doing it in a structured way.
I'll tell you a cute story. I'll tell you a cute story. So in our very early age, this is the last one. I used to be a professor, so professor. So for example, you may have seen that in our class, very early on, in our science lab, there is these microscopes. Right? So what happened in first class is that we told the teacher there are 25 kids, you divide them in 5 groups of 5 and teach the first group how to use a microscope. So we have a video camera actually monitoring in that class what is happening in that particular class. So this is what we noticed. The teacher is trying to teach the kids this is how to use a microscope. In the camera frame, a child comes from the side because teacher got stuck in something. She couldn't figure out something. A child, another child, which was not one of these 5 children, comes from the outside and tells the child, teacher, ऐसे करना होता है. उसको teacher कुछ बता रहा था. So then the camera pans. We look at the other kids. They have self-organized themselves and they are already using other microscopes. Okay, so we found out something. Delete the teacher. Now we let the students learn by themselves. This is another part of entrepreneurship. Give them a chance. Give them the equipment. Let them try it. Actually, we found out that they can learn by themselves. There is no. So these are the things. If you let them try, so क्या हो जाएगा? एक microscope तोड़ देगा. That's right. I mean that's. This is a. पूछे की कोई बात नहीं. We'll get a new one, but you must try. And this is that. Yes, please.
I just have one question.
Yes.
What grades are we? What grade level are we talking about?
We started pre-K. Then we went to K, 1, 2, and now we are at 3.
So are you going to leave it at 3? Or?
No, we just go grade by grade. Yeah, so
and
we go grade by grade.
that question that is it possible to do all the grades simultaneously? Yes. But for each one, because our curriculum is far more rigorous, you need to design intervention. So let's say a kid joined me in 8th grade and he's not gone through my system. I need to be able to intervene during the summer to bring him up to speed. Now, designing the intervention is far more expensive and far more difficult, and I didn't have the resources. In Africa, when we started, which had Bill Gates and all these other people, we put in close to $220 million. I simply did not have those for Pakistan. No, Pakistan, nobody gives money for Pakistan other than maybe Pakistanis themselves. And so we're putting in our own research money, so we're growing at the pace which is comfortable at my investment rate, and that's why we're going slow.
I just want to ask you, so this is recognized by the government?
Yes.
Okay. So if it goes up to 12th grade, I don't know how it is, 12th grade, it's recognized by, because they still have to get jobs, they still have to go to next school, they still have to be in the system, right? Yes. So it's recognized.
So, and the way we address that is because our kids are coming from such a comprehension-based system. The government exams are still, unfortunately, the way they are, and we're not making that change at this point.
Yeah.
So we have a test prep subject in there. So our kids from 3rd grade onwards are taking the test-taking skills, so they will do well in the board too.
Good.
And that system is based off of the government assessment rubric, and the Punjab prep the next gen Punjab prep that we launched with the previous government actually focuses on improving grades or board results at all those levels. So yes.
Thank you very much, Sabat Rafiq, meet and greet meeting, and we introducing our organization.
We have to call upon the person who got the check.
So I guess my question is if somebody wants to donate, how to do that? And
Let's do this. First of all, it was my job to close out this evening. We gotta get dinner because we're gonna burn some of the stuff over there. Second of all, in closing, the thing is that there's two analogies. Number one, when you build a place where you live, you either build a house or you build a home. The home has all these extra things in it, and you see there's brick and mortar schools. They are building a home, they're not building a house. So that's the first thing. Second of all, when you talk about a destination somewhere, you're going on vacation, or you're going on a business trip, you know where you're going, you know what you have to do, but how do you get there? You go by plane, you go by, do you walk, you go on horseback. This is the whole logistics of moving forward. I hope you guys saw two things that I saw tonight. Number one was knowledge, the technology, the expertise, and both of these guys have. Number two, and most importantly, the passion, and I hope that passion came out. So I wanted to thank again Naveed Bhai and Sabat. Fantastic, amazing. We were waiting for 2 hours that we spoke before when you were over, and I'm amazed, amazing things. So let's just get dinner.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. Inshallah, we're bringing our mini program in April, about 9 and 8 program all over America, which is our fundraising and entertainments, to bring more knowledge and more information. And I'm the brand ambassador of the United We Reach. We already created 19 chapter. There is a Shavana Mufti is the one initiator for the chapter, and they are our main contact here. And I'm coming many years Washington DC. Can you watch everybody studying in Pakistan? So I'm very impressed as well. And I found her during the interview. I met her in the interview. So let's have
अस्सलाम वालेकुम शहबाज मलिक साहब क्या ख्याल है आप कैसे हैं आप
TikTok.
What do you do by the way?
So I'm a senior vice president of a corporation in building materials. Yes.
ज़बरदस्त आज आपने एक प्रेजेंटेशन देखी यूनाइटेड वी रीच की UWR which is transforming education in Pakistan, which is the existing school. What do you think about that?
I think it's a very fascinating business model. I'm extremely impressed, not only with the approach and the model, but the content and the passion and the love I see from the leaders doing this. And I see the connection. What they're trying to solve is not the infrastructure problem, but going to the existing infrastructure and giving them for free a educational model where they can actually make an impact with the kids that are in the schools today. I think it's a great idea, fully supportive behind it, and I think this will really make a difference in the world.
मेरे साथ हैं जनाब वाशिंगटन डीसी की शान पहचान और जान बहुत काम किया उन्होंने पॉलिसी के बैकग्राउंड से बहुत वर्क किया है और अगर वो सिलसिला चलता रहता और इंशाल्लाह चलेगा आइंदा पाकिस्तान के लिए बहुत बड़ी हेल्प साबित होगी वाशिंगटन डीसी में। शुक्रिया साहब आज आपने प्रेजेंटेशन देखी मुलाकात की सबात रफ़ीक से भी और जनाब नवीद शेरवानी से कैसा फील कर रहे हैं?
वकार साहब पहले तो बात यह है कि लेट मी वेलकम यू टू वाशिंगटन डीसी और आप ये सबाहत रफ़ीक को और नवीद शेरवानी से वो लेकर जो आए साथ आई एम वेरी इम्प्रेस्ड। उनका जो प्रोग्राम है फॉर एजुकेशन के लिए आई थिंक इट्स अ गेम चेंजर। अगर इसको सही तरीके से पाकिस्तान में इम्प्लीमेंट किया जाए मेरा ख्याल है कि दिस विल बी पुटिंग पाकिस्तान ईयर्स अहेड वट एवर दे आर डूइंग राइट नाउ। तो आई विश देम लॉट ऑफ सक्सेस। वी आर हियर एज पाकिस्तानी अमेरिकन कम्युनिटी टू सपोर्ट देम वट एवर वी कैन डू। I was very impressed. Sabahat appears to be very professional. She understands what has to be done. और जैसे उनका गवर्नमेंट के साथ इंटरेक्शन बढ़ता है they take over more schools, I think it will be a game changer for Pakistan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Musaddiq Chughtai.
Thank you very much, and welcome to Washington again. Inshallah, see you soon. Thank you.
See that we are not going for building new schools or new ideas. We want to help those already there, existing school, जो मौजूद स्कूल है. उसके बारे में आज आपने सबात रफ़ीक की presentation देखी. आपको कैसा महसूस हुआ?
I'm so impressed by the work that UWR is doing. I mean, बच्चों को अगर आप शुरू से अच्छी education देंगे, अच्छी values देंगे, that's how the future is going to look better. So I think to start with the kids and with education, I think it's the best thing to do. So I'm very impressed and I would love to be part of it.
In my opinion, I mean, one of the big things is the quality of education. And what they're talking about, the quality, increasing the quality from an ethical perspective, from scientific perspective, it's great. I really liked it. And I mean, the whole mission is amazing.
Can you tell your name?
My name is Jahanzeb Sayed, and I'm basically I have a small business in Washington, D.C., federal government.
And my name is Gulrukh Sayed, and I'm a physician. I'm a rheumatologist. I treat arthritis, lupus, and things like that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
मेरे साथ हैं जनाब चार्ल्स दादू साहब. इनका ताल्लुक चंडीगढ़ से और आज यहाँ मौजूद थे. काफ़ी इनका हल्का बाप बड़ा है पाकिस्तानियों में और आज उन्होंने एक प्रेजेंटेशन देखी UWR की. तो आपने कैसा महसूस किया?
काफ़ी अच्छी थी, काफ़ी knowledgeable है. I think it's a very good system to implement education at a faster pace. Among the students in Pakistan and around the world, the system can be leveraged from technology perspective.
Thank you very much. डॉक्टर माशाल्लाह आज आपने देखा होगा, आपने भी तालीम हासिल की है. किसी अलमनाई से आपका ताल्लुक होगा पाकिस्तान की. तो आप क्या महसूस करते हैं जो आज सबात ने प्रेजेंटेशन दी है, आपको क्या महसूस करते हैं उसके बारे में?
It's pretty good. It was very convincing. She did a great job. I think this is the way to go. There's too much to do in Pakistan. So any drop in the ocean or any drop in the bucket will eventually raise the water level. So I feel like this is an awesome cause, modernizing the education system. But I think we also need to change the curriculum, not computerizing the present curriculum, but the curriculum has to be changed. It has to be modernized with the moving technology and moving sciences. So, but anyhow, awesome. It was good.
You support that?
Absolutely, absolutely, I do.
Thank you, Javed Akhtar साहब. God bless you.
Thank you.
मेरे साथ जनाब डॉक्टर हमजा इस वेस्कुलर मेडिसिन में है और जो कि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, स्पेशली जो डायबिटिक्स हैं और उनका प्रॉब्लम है आपकी बॉडी के अंदर flowing the bloods. So he is the man to really fix those. So today he attended the event with Sabat Rafiq, UWR, United We Reach. So what do you think? What's your message taking away from tonight?
Waqar bhai, this was an amazing program, and to see that the people are doing such a work, sitting here and caring about the country, their home country, Pakistan, and the education, which is very, very important. And not only the education, but the quality education for Pakistani kids, and then the data, and then the hard work they have put in this one is amazing. And I think is our education system back home really needs people like him and Sabahat to help improve the quality of education in Pakistan. I think this is great work, and I think we should, all Pakistanis should come together and help and support these causes and the other causes which are trying to improve the education in Pakistan.
Hamza Saab, mashallah, very well said.
Thank you.
Very good speaker. God bless you. तो मेरे साथ डॉक्टर नवी शिरवानी रुए रवा ऑफ UWR यूनाइटेड वी रीच और ये हमारी सेकंड मीटिंग है, सेकंड लैग है आफ्टर शिकागो इन वाशिंगटन DC. तो नवी साहब आज आपने माशाल्लाह ये दूसरी मीटिंग अटेंड की है शिकागो के बाद UWR की. तो आप कैसे महसूस कर रहे हैं? आपने लोगों से मिक्स एंड मिंगल किया, क्या थॉट्स हैं, क्या ख्याल है?
शुक्रिया बहुत बहुत वकार भाई. सबसे पहले तो मुझे यहाँ पे लोगों का जज्बा देख के और उनकी इंक्विजिटिवनेस देख के बहुत ही खुशी हुई कि वो लोग बहुत जानना चाहते थे पाकिस्तान में एजुकेशन के बारे में. और सबसे बड़ी मुझे बात लगी कि उनको पाकिस्तान के एजुकेशन के बारे में बड़ी कंसर्न है, उनको बहुत इस बात की फ़िक्र है, ख्याल है. और मुझे लगता है कि काफ़ी लोगों में नया जज्बा है, वो चाहते हैं कि पाकिस्तान की प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व किया जाए. तो मैं ये जज्बा देख के बहुत खुश हुआ हूँ. इंशाल्लाह ताला हम सब लोगों की हिम्मत के साथ, मदद के साथ हम इस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करेंगे और इंशाल्लाह ताला एक दिन पाकिस्तान में भी बड़े मॉडर्न और अच्छे स्कूल होंगे ताकि हम अपने फ़ख्र कर सकें अपने एजुकेशन सिस्टम।
थैंक यू वेरी मच,
शुक्रिया बहुत।
नाज़रीन मेरे साथ हैं डॉक्टर शबाना मुफ्ती जो OPTV DC लाउंज की मेज़बान है और पाकिस्तान से आगे की भी मेज़बान है और अभी हाल में पाकिस्तान में कई प्रोग्राम ये करके आई हैं। तो आइए से पूछते हैं कि आपने कैसा महसूस किया आज की प्रेजेंटेशन को।
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, अस्सलाम वालेकुम वकार भाई। अभी मैं पाकिस्तान से वापस आई हूँ एंड आई वुड लाइक टू से समथिंग कि मैंने अभी तक इतनी ओरिजिनल, इतनी अच्छी कॉज, बहुत सारे काम हो रहे हैं पाकिस्तान में। आई वुडंट से कि कोई ऐसी बात हो रही है जो मैं कहूँ कि मैं डिसलाइक करती हूँ या मैं उसको सपोर्ट नहीं करती। देयर आर सो मेनी अदर कॉजेज़ जो मैं सपोर्ट करती हूँ, बट दिस इज़ वन ऑफ द कॉजेज़ जो मैं दिल से कहूँगी कि आई लव इट एंड आई वुड लव टू सपोर्ट इट। और सबाहत जैसी इंस्पिरेशनल पर्सनालिटी, मैं इनको पहली दफ़ा मिली तो मैंने कहा कि दिस इज़ व्हाट वी कॉल women empowerment. She is a very good speaker. She is doing this and this cause with all her passion, with all her heart. I would love to be a part of it, which is mashallah, I'm already going to be a part of it. लेकिन मैं ये कहूँगी कि जो इसको सुन रहा है वो ज़रूर इसके वेबसाइट पे जाए, इसकी इंफॉर्मेशन ले and be a part of it.
पाकिस्तान का ट्रिप कैसा?
पाकिस्तान का ट्रिप, मैंने रोज़ नान खाए, मैंने रबड़ी खाई, मैंने इतनी चीज़ें खाई, मैंने दिल की सारी हसरतें पूरी कर ली। बट लाइक नाउ आई हैव टू बी सीरियस।
शो में भी आ गई और साहिल लोधी से भी मुलाकात हो गई।
मैंने काफ़ी शोज़ किए वहाँ माशाल्लाह। इट वाज एन एक्सपीरियंस, इट वाज अ वेरी गुड वन। और यू नो पाकिस्तान इज़ पाकिस्तान एंड लाहौर इज़ लाहौर
एंड OPTV is OPTV.
OPTV is absolutely OPTV and वकार साहब is वकार साहब।
थैंक यू वेरी मच शबाना।
थैंक यू।
नाज़रीन मेरे साथ हैं चेयरमैन UWR यूनाइटेड वी रीच सबात रफ़ीक, जिन्होंने आज यहाँ पे एक बड़ी अच्छी ज़बरदस्त प्रेजेंटेशन दी है। ये हमारा सेकंड लेग है अब UWR का आफ्टर शिकागो एंड वाशिंगटन DC एंड टुमारो वी हेडिंग टू डैलस। सो कैसा रहा आज की आपकी इंटरेक्शन?
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, बहुत शुक्रिया वकार भाई कि आपने इसका इनेकाद किया। बहुत अच्छा रहा ये इवेंट और हमें पब्लिक से बहुत अच्छा रिस्पांस मिला। एक बहुत एजुकेटेड ऑडियंस था और उन्होंने बहुत अच्छे सवालात पूछे और मैं समझती हूँ कि वो इस प्रोजेक्ट के तमाम पहलुओं पे उन्होंने गौर से सुना भी, अच्छी फीडबैक भी दी और हमें बहुत सपोर्ट भी किया।
मैसेज टू आवर ऑडियंस।
वकार भाई, मैं पहले भी आपसे अर्ज़ कर चुकी, मैसेज बड़े लोग देते हैं, मैं बहुत छोटी सी चीज़ हूँ, मैं कोई मैसेज नहीं दे सकती। मेरा मैसेज वही है जो अल्लाह ताला का मैसेज है, इकरा, पढ़ो, पढ़ें,
पढ़ अल्लाह के नाम से जिसने तुझे पैदा।
और पढ़ें इसलिए नहीं कि आपको नौकरी की तलाश है, पढ़ें फ़हद से लहद तक जैसे कि मेरे नबी का हुक्म है सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम।
थैंक यू वेरी मच। गॉड।
दूर देश के लोग, बैरून मुल्क आबाद पाकिस्तानियों की कामयाबी और कामरानी की कहानी।